Hello guys, and welcome to the GamingLegendz YouTube channel. My name is TJ, and today I'm going to be showing you how to connect the Cronus, or how to use your Cronus Zen and your Xim Apex with PS5 games using your old PlayStation 4 systems via remote play. So, before I begin, if you find our videos helpful, please give us a like and a subscribe, and follow us on our social medias, and any content creators that use these videos to create your own content, please give us a shout out or credit. That'll be greatly appreciated. Also, I have put a donation link down in the description. If you want to support us further, feel free to donate, and we thank you ahead of time. Oh, guys, if you're experiencing no input on after you connect to your remote play, whether your controller doesn't turn on, your mouse or your keyboard, then the issue is probably within your Xim hub. If you have a third-party hub and this isn't happening, we could further troubleshoot that. However, look for my video about the Xim PS4 remote play controller won't turn on fix. This video will show you how to fix that. Also, these videos and other videos with the Cronus and Zen will be located in the description, along with other links to devices and tutorials and walkthroughs on how to use your Cronus Zen, update them, or what have you. Let's talk about the equipment and devices we'll need to do this. Obviously, a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro, your Cronus Zen, or your Xim Apex. You do not need both. This will show you how to use either or both at the same time. This method is only going to work with a PlayStation 4 controller version 2. You know it's version 2 if it's glowing above like it is right now. This is a version 2. DualShock 4 version 2 controller. We're going to need a wire to connect it. This is a micro USB wire for your controller. Obviously, you have a mouse. Some of you may have a keyboard. We're going to need the short wire for the Cronus Zen that it comes with in stock. We're going to need the hub. So you're going to probably use the original Xim hub if you're using Xim. I, however, use a separate hub. Link in description. I use separate hubs because of a power issue with Xim's hub. It's not really an issue. This is actually normal. Your mouse and your keyboard and your controller use a lot of power for a hub like this to actually power up those items. And that may be all they do is power them up, but they may not be able to accept the input and send them to the device. So these do have a power cable you can plug in. I'm not sure if they work, but I'm not sure if it still gives you sufficient power. Luckily, this hub that I bought actually has a power cable that works for the Xim, so I could just plug that in here. Oops, dropping things. And it powers it on. So that's without anything connected, and that gives it a power. So this is the size power cable you would need if you were to go this route. I'm not sure what size this is, and I'm not even too sure if it works. It lit it up, obviously. However, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my own external hub. However, let's make a few things clear. The 1 slot, 2 slot, and 3 slot are what I'm going to be referring to as the bottom, next one, and the third one. So 1, 2, 3 is the same as 1, 2, 3 on the Xim's hub. So we're going to get started. Let's do our settings on our PlayStation 4 system. We're going to go to our PlayStation 4. You must set up remote play. Remote play can be set up. You have to use the PS5 also to do it. There's tutorials, videos, and documents on Sony's website if you really need info on how to set up your remote play. For now, we're going to go into devices, settings, devices, and we're going to go to controllers. And we're going to change the communication method to use USB cable. This must be set for these controllers to do this. use USB cable for the controller for the PlayStation 4. Next, once your PlayStation 5 remote play is set up on your PlayStation 4 system, go ahead and start your remote play. Mine has already been connected. And you can see, I'm just using the controller wirelessly. You can kind of see the input difference. There is more of a lag with this method than the normal PC method that I use. But at the same time, mine isn't that bad. This is still playable. I wouldn't do it this way because I can use my remote play on my PC. But this is the difference. So this is not bad at all. At the end of the video, or at the end of my video labeled how to play PlayStation 5 games with the DualShock 4 method, I talk a little about how to clear up your network. So go ahead and find that video and just scroll to the end of it where I start talking about how to clear your network to get this lag to go away. If you guys would like me to make a separate video for this, I can try. You'll have to give me some time. Please use the comment section to let me know that you want that. Like I said, this method isn't one I like to use. However, if this is all you have, this is all you have. And we're going to use this method. So we're going to begin with the Cronus Zen. Let's talk about it a little bit. We have the rear slot. This is the slot you plug into the console. This is the right slot. This is your Zen Studio slot for your PC. This is the Bluetooth button. Never press that. This button has done more harm than good for the Zen and the PlayStation 4 controllers. And this is your profile selection button. Now the slots, you have the front left, or your left slot is your A1 slot. This is an important slot. You use this slot for connecting controllers and crossovers to use different controllers on different devices. That's your A1 slot. Your front left slot is your A3, and your front right slot is your A2. That is the Cronus Zen. The Xim Apex, it's only one slot, and that's as simple as that gets. And you have your hub slots, which is usually 1, 2, and 3. I have 7 of them, but I only need 3 or 4 sometimes. I use mine already connected here. That is, the bottom is the mouse, the next is the USB-C controllers, the next is micro USB controllers. I do not have a keyboard plugged into it. So, but if you were to have a keyboard plugged into it, that would be the slot up from the mouse, which is slot number 2. The software I'm using on the Zen is the latest software. It is 2.0.11 at the time of this video. You can update that firmware, look through documentation on how to update your firmware for Zen. If you're using it, I am using the latest. For the Xim Apex, I'm using the latest beta. I have links in the description on how to install the latest beta and also how to download it or where to download it at. Follow those links. I am using that beta for this. For the Xim Apex, we are going to have to connect it to the rear slot, the rear USB slot of the PlayStation 4. Because according to Zen support, these 2 slots up front do not provide enough power, and you may experience no controller movement, whatever, mouse, keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and use the rear slot for this, and that is going to be with this original cable. I don't use the Xim's original cable or the Zen's original cable. This comes stock with it. It's the controller cable. It works fine for certain things, but when I started using remote play in this method, it did not give me any movement. The cable is fine. It's not damaged. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I use my own cables and they work just fine. Before we begin, I'm going to talk about sequencing, and sequencing is important. All that means is you must plug the things in the right sequence, in the right order. So when it comes to the Zen, I'm going to show you what order to plug things in, and when you're alone doing this, this is the order you should follow, and it'll work every single time. Same thing with the Xim Apex, if not more so. before you start up a Xim Apex, and sometimes actually I found I think with the PlayStation 4 controller on Xbox, it doesn't require that. That's because the PlayStation 4 controller is very compatible with a lot of things. However, for Xim, we're going to plug them in one slot at a time and the right way. So we're going to start with the Zen, the Cronus Zen. So we're going to use the Cronus Zen with just the remote. You're going to need your DualShock 4 version 2. So we're going to take our Cronus Zen and plug it into the rear port of the PlayStation 4. I already have mine connected. All I'm going to do is plug in the Zen now. Let it initialize. It'll look like this. Remember, if it does any bootloader issues, all I have to do is reset mine. If you have other bootloader issues, I have not read into, but they do have a Cronus support on their website. I'm not sure how helpful they are, but if you run into issues where the website isn't helping you, please let me know, and I will try to recreate those errors and help you with them. Just comment and let me know. So now that I have the Cronus connected, I'm going to take my PlayStation 4 controller, DualShock version 2, DualShock 4 version 2, and we're going to just connect it to the front left slot, the A3 slot. So take your controller, plug it in. It should light up. And now I have movement on Siege. I'm going to test. I have crouch spam and rapid fire on, I believe. And that's the Cronus Zen working on the PlayStation 5 via remote play on PlayStation 4. Remember, the input lag is one thing, and that's something else that you guys will have to try to fix on your own. Like I said, watch my video. It should be named. It's not uploaded yet at the time of this recording, but the name should be how to use the Cronus Zen on the PS5 with the DualShock 4 method. Should be at the end of that video. So now that we're done with the Cronus Zen, that's simple, easy. Let's talk about how to use the Xim Apex on the PlayStation 5 with the PS4. So we're going to disconnect everything. Disconnect the controller. Disconnect your your Cronus Zen. Move that away. If you're trying to do this method, people with Zen or the Xim, go ahead and connect your Xim. Let's talk about actually the hub. So with the hub, we're going to set up the hub first. So the hub setup should always be plugged in. I am going to third-party hubs. I'm going to connect my hub USB and power, and we're just going to connect the Xim and the hub together. First things first, connect those. Next, we're going to be using a mouse. Those that are using a keyboard, connect your keyboard. Mouse is in your first slot. Your keyboard is in your second slot. For those using the original hub, first slot, second slot still. So now that we have that connected, let's go ahead, take our Xim, and plug it into one of the slots. I do not believe it matters for this. For me, it doesn't matter. I plug it into the front slot, and it should light up. Once it illuminates white, my mouse should come on. My mouse is on. That means it's ready for the controller. So we'll take, once again, our DualShock 4 controller, and we will connect it to your third slot for you. So I'll connect it to my third slot even though I don't have a keyboard in. And this should light up. Now I have movement on the PlayStation again, PlayStation 5. And let's test our mouse. The mouse is moving. I am getting shots. I'm able to reload. And there you have it. That's the Xim on the PS4 and the PS5 using remote play. So that's pretty easy. The biggest thing there is connecting your devices in the sequence that you have to connect them in that sequence, otherwise it doesn't work. You have your mouse, your keyboard, and your controller. I'm using a third-party hub because this hub provides power to the devices, and that's less work on the Xim to power up. So Now I'm going to show you guys how to use the Cronus Zen and the Xim at the same time. So to get started, just take your... I disconnected everything. Those that are following this method. I'm taking the Cronus Zen only, and I'm going to plug that into the rear of the PlayStation. Let it initialize, and then we're going to take our Xim hub, and we're going to connect it to the Xim. Once connected to the Xim, remember, plug in your mouse in your first slot, your keyboard in your next, and you're going to connect your Xim Apex into the bottom left slot of your Cronus Zen. Let it turn on, let it initialize. Once your mouse lights up or illuminates in keyboard, that means the Xim is ready for your controller. We're going to take the controller and plug it into the third slot. Controller should come on. It is ready. I have movement. This is Cronus Zen and the Xim. So without the controller, I'm going to use the mouse to show that it's the Zen by rapid fire and crouch spam. And obviously moving is the mouse. So that is both. As you can see on the left screen and the right screen, this is as much lag as I get from this. So there's the method to use Cronus Zen and the Xim Apex on the PlayStation 5 with PlayStation 5 Games, but using your old PlayStation 4 console. Thanks for watching, and if this video was helpful, please give us a like and subscribe. Join us in Discord or our other social medias. We hope to see you soon.